Hi guys, what's up? Um, Now this video is going to be one that I was going to do I think a while ago, but I never got around to it. But I am going to do it now. And basically what this video is it's going to be part one of a three-part set of videos that I want to do talking about um, my revised list of my all-time favorite movies. That's basically what I'm going to be talking about. Yeah, so this is going to be part one, where I talk about my honorable mentions for my favorite movies. Part two is going to be my favorite movies from number 20 to number 11. And then the final part, part three, is going to be my favorite movies from numbers 10 to 1. That's what it's going to be. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so to start off my honorable mentions list, I want to start off by saying that these honorable mention movies are in no particular order. So I'm not going to say here's number one or here's number five, I'm just going to go in the order that I stacked them in, basically, because I'm going to be holding the physical DVD. So yeah. So to start off, um, is an action movie that I really, really love. And it's the first one, so it's the best out of the series. And that is, are you ready? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Yeah, the first Die Hard. An action classic by many people's opinions. Just such a great movie, man. Um, so much, classic stuff that happens in this movie. And it's honestly one of the greatest action movies I've ever seen, to be honest, because it's honestly one of the most original action movies I've seen. And the story is so simple. It's just about this guy who happens to go to a Christmas party for his wife's work, and the office building that his wife works at gets taken over by terrorists, and he has to fight them off. It's simple, it's fun, it's awesome. That's all you need. And Bruce Willis, he plays John McClane so freaking well. Even though I'm not even going to mention Die Hard 5 because that sucked ass. But still. First one, action classic. One of the greatest action movies ever made. Like I said, it has one of the most famous lines in movie history. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Just an awesome movie, man. And also, really good acting. Especially Alan Rickman as the villain, Hans Gruber. He is so awesome. Um, yeah. And also, one thing I noticed is how this is kind of freaky, but how almost identical the plot of this movie is to the plot of Air Force One. You know that Harrison Ford action movie where he plays the president? Yeah, the plot in those two movies is exactly the same. This guy has to fight off a bunch of terrorists. But in, the other movie's case, it was Harrison Ford playing the president of the United States fighting off a bunch of terrorists. So basically, you could call Air Force One a ripoff of Die Hard. But, whatever. Still, this is awesome. Okay, next on the honorable mention list is another action movie that I really love, and one that I've been watching a little longer than Die Hard, and that is The Mask of Zorro. This is just pure action fun at its greatest, man. Um, just a great movie, hands down. The acting is awesome. The action is awesome. The music by James Horner, awesome. I have the main theme to this movie on my iPhone. But anyway, just an awesome movie and one that I never get tired of. That's why it's on the honorable mention list, because I never get tired of it when I watch it. And also, I think it was really this movie that inspired me to take fencing lessons, because I think I took like fencing lessons when I was in third grade, even though I quit after like a year of doing it. But anyway, yeah, I would always reenact the sword fights to these movies because they're so intense and awesome. Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, like, they're so freaking good with the sword in this movie. And it's not really surprising since the stunt coordinator in this movie, Bob Anderson. Bob Anderson is like one of the greatest swordsmen who ever lived, and he was like Errol Flynn's stunt double for the original Robin Hood TV show. The guy is awesome with a sword. But anyway, yeah, Mask of Zorro, awesome movie. Okay, so next up is a fantasy-ish movie that I've been watching for a long time, and that is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Um, now, uh, hear me out. I know this isn't the best of the Harry Potter movies, but honestly, it's my favorite because to me it's like the most lighthearted and the most fun to watch. Now I know the movies like got more adult and more serious as they went on, but really, this one I like the best just because, you know, it's so it's fun. That's the only word I can use to describe the movie. Fun, fun in a good way, mind you. Yeah. But anyway, this movie actually felt a little bit more funny and just more exciting than Sorcerer's Stone did, and its story is more interesting too. Um, and another reason why I like this movie so much is because of Gilderoy Lockhart. He's such just like this weird screwball kind of wizard, but he's so funny and kind of badass too. That's why I like him. I don't know why, but anyway, um, yeah, really fun movie, and also you got to give credit to Dobby. Dobby is awesome, and too bad he had to die in Deathly Hallows Part One. But anyway, yeah, awesome. Okay, next up we have one of the greatest, if not the greatest, comedy I've ever seen, and that is Horrible Bosses. I cannot get enough of this movie, man. This movie is so cut-bustingly hilarious. It's crazy how funny this movie is. Now, I know it's not like, the greatest comedy ever, but it's one of my favorites. Let's just say that. Because basically, the plot of this movie is so relatable. And that's what makes it funny. These three ordinary losers just hate their jobs so much that they decide, hey, you know what? Why don't we just kill our bosses? That'll make our lives better. It is just so freaking funny. Every twist and turn this movie takes. Okay, let me tell you something. The first time I saw this movie back in 2011, I could not stop laughing. I was laughing so hard I was crying. That's how hard I was laughing. And how funny this movie is. I mean, everybody in this movie is just like at the top level of comedy. Especially Charlie Day's character, man. He's like the funniest character in this movie. And that's probably because Jennifer Aniston is his boss and she's sexually harassing him. It's too funny. You really need to see it to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, one of the greatest comedies I've ever seen, and also has some of the funniest quotes you can imagine. You can't win a marathon without putting some band-aids on your nipples. I know that's weird, but still. Yeah. Hilarious. Okay, next up is honestly one of the greatest movies I've ever seen in my entire life, just in general. And also a movie that I've been watching for so many years. And that is, are you ready? The Empire Strikes Back. Oh my god. I cannot I can't describe in words how pretty much flawless this movie is. I mean, the writing, the acting, the action, the special effects are just so much better than Star Wars is. I mean, my god. And honestly, the reason this movie is so awesome is because it's one of those few sequels that actually surpasses the original, like, by a long shot. I mean, everything in this movie is so superior than Star Wars. I mean, like I said, the writing, the acting, the action, the special effects, all of it is just, like, taken to the next level. And honestly, if you really think about it, this is like the greatest sequel just ever made. Ever. Because it surpasses the original like 10 times over. And it's so different than the original, too. The story is a lot more deeper than the originals is. It goes in so many different directions that you're not expecting. And that's what makes it so awesome. And also, in terms of popularity, like this is like considered by many to be the best out of all 6 Star Wars movies. And personally, it's not my favorite, but it's still awesome. It's like my second favorite Star Wars movie. Yeah. And if you want to know personally, my order of the movies goes like this: Episode 3, which is my favorite, then Episode 5, then Episode 4, then Episode 1, then Episode 6, then Episode 2. That's how my personal order of the movies goes. But yeah, awesome movie. And also, this particular copy is awesome because it comes with the original theatrical release from 1980 and the 2004 special edition. Here, wait. And I put the original theatrical release in the front because it's better. Now, I already talked about this in my most recent movie collection update, how I was so curious to see how the original theatrical versions of the original trilogy looked like, and honestly, they are far superior to the special editions. Because, like I said, you don't need those CGI changes to make the movies better. Honestly, the CGI changes that Lucas put in these movies does not add anything to the movies. They don't need to be there to make the movies good. The movies were fine as they were. Just perfect. And sure, the audio and the picture on the original versions is not amazing, but honestly, that doesn't matter to me. What matters is the movie itself. And the movie itself is awesome. In fact, more than awesome. Epic. Friggin' epic. That's the highest rating I can give a movie. But yeah. And also, of course, this movie has, the most famous twist in movie history, with Vader being Luke's father. Everybody has copied off of that twist. But yeah. Flawless masterpiece this movie is. I cannot compliment it more than that. And finally on the list of honorable mentions is Django Unchained. This is one of the most badass, hardcore, adrenaline-filled action movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's not just the action, but the story is so interesting. And I'm not even surprised that this won Best Screenplay at the Oscars of 2013. I'm not surprised by that. Because fucking Tarantino, man, he knows how to write a good movie. He's proven that so many times. Because the story of this movie is so interesting and so badass, and it keeps you, entranced, throughout the entire 2-hour and 45-minute runtime of this movie. And it's just so badass, man. Pretty much all of Tarantino's movies are badass. There's no question about that. And also, the acting in this movie is something to be talked about, because the acting in this movie is perfect. Not a single actor in this movie gives a bad performance. Every single one of them is awesome, especially Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz steals this movie as King Schultz. He does. It's freaking awesome. And I can also do his voice very, very well. Mr. Candy, you do possess the power of persuasion. I suppose you prefer the take it or leave it style of negotiation? Awesome! One of the most badass movies I've ever seen. Also one of the greatest action movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. That concludes my honorable mention list for my all-time favorite movies. Like I said, part 2 is going to be numbers 20 through 11 on my all-time favorite movie revised list. And then the final part, part 3, is going to be numbers 10 to 1. Okay? So, see you later. Bye.